I'm a social anxiety coach. My first question in today's stream is, how much time are you spending each day living your dreams? How many hours a day are you doing something that you're really passionate about? If the answer is 0, that's a good thing. It's a good thing because you have so much potential to grow as a person and become a lot happier. If the answer is yes, I'm already spending time every day living my dreams and doing something that I'm passionate about, that's amazing. I'm happy for you. I'm doing the same. You've probably heard that expression, I'll be happy when. I'll be happy when I land my dream job. I'll be happy as soon as I have my wife. As soon as I have this, as soon as I have that. As soon as I finish university and I've got a first in my degree, at that exact moment, happiness will just flood in and I'll be in this permanent state of euphoria. When you say, I'll be happy when, you're doing something called happiness procrastination. You're putting off being happy. And what's even worse than this, you're building a habit of happiness procrastination. You're becoming a master at procrastinating from being happy and actually enjoying your life. Perhaps by now, I could be wrong. Maybe you're so much of a master at this that you could coach, you could monetize it. You could tell the people how to happiness procrastinate. In the same way as there's that expression, I'll be happy when. A lot of people mistakenly believe that they can't start living their dreams now. You might think, oh, that's not for me. You might think it's childish. I'm now an adult. And because I've become an adult, I'm supposed to be miserable and unhappy and have no fun. You might have been conditioned to believe that being an adult means doing things that you don't enjoy to make money. This doesn't have to be the case. In my opinion, what's important? How you're spending your time. That's important. Time is such a precious resource. We have a limited amount of time on this planet. We're in a rocking space. We're on a rocking space. And the party's going on right now. It's happening. Remember watching an Apollo 13 documentary. Really, really good one, actually, on Netflix. And I can't remember the name of the lead astronaut, but he said that when he was coming back from the moon, they actually didn't land on the moon. They got super close to landing on the moon, but there'd been some fuel problems and they had to do a loop around the moon and come back to Earth. He said that seeing Earth from space was a beautiful experience, and he described the Earth as a bauble on a Christmas tree in a sea of darkness. This brightly lit place where the life's at, where the party's at. So we have a finite amount of time in our life. How are you spending your time? And if you're spending your time doing something that you really enjoy, you're going to be a lot happier. You're going to have a lot more fun, and you're going to get a lot more juice from the fruit of life. There's no shame at all in enjoying your life. Sometimes people can feel guilty about being happy, and guilty and shameful about enjoying their lives. Like it's selfish, it's wrong. And if you feel like this, you feel it's selfish or wrong to enjoy your life, think about how you would feel if you saw somebody else who was enjoying their life. Would that make you feel happy to see somebody innocently enjoying their life? Would that give you a buzz? Would that give you some energy? And in most cases, the answer is yes. It's, hey, Taran, hope you're doing good. It's nice to see other people enjoying life because that gives you hope that it's possible to do the same. So in the same way, you have the power to have the effects on other people, to have this effect. If you're genuinely enjoying life, you're having a good time, you're happy in yourself, it's going to help other people to feel good about themselves as well. And I like that, Taran. So Taran said that it's inspiring when you see people positive. 100%. So what this means is that when you stop procrastinating on being happy, you stop saying, I'll be happy once I've achieved this and that. You start choosing to be happy and live your life now. You start doing things that you're passionate about, things that you enjoy, and that can be anything, whatever's right for you. Maybe you love music. You love listening to music, playing music. You have a blast when you're doing this. Maybe you love socializing, going to a bar, a coffee shop, going out with friends and having a laugh and joke. Whatever it is that fills you with positive energy, and I'm reading every word you're saying, you can then spread that positive energy to other people. And Tarun just made a good point that really fits with what I'm saying. So he said that he got the bus to work and everybody on the bus looked so miserable. Those people on the bus are doing happiness procrastination. They're not living their dreams. If the bus was their mode of transport to this place where they were doing something that they were excited about, something that they enjoy, they would love being on that bus. If it was a bus trip to Alton Towers and it was school kids on the bus, there'd be an excitement in the atmosphere. There'd be that buzz because people are doing something fun. And the truth is that a lot of jobs probably feel like working in a factory. You might feel like a cog in the wheel, or a hamster in the wheel, even just running around and doing stuff. But the great thing is we have freedom and choice. So firstly, I would say at least spend 1 hour a day living your dreams. And you said that you found it kind of amusing that everyone on the bus just looked unhappy and miserable. And there is a humor in that. Like, I do relate to that. It's kind of funny that we're all here on this planet, and so many people walk through life like zombies, unhappy, miserable, not doing things that they actually enjoy. drifting along with the currents. And would you say, Taryn, that probably you was one of the most positive people on that bus this morning? So the crazy thing with today's society, there's good and bad sides to it, is that we have so much choice. When it comes to career, there's an overwhelming number of choices. And the flip side to this, I'll start with the bad side and finish with the uplifting good side, is that people can feel paralyzed because there's so much choice. And you can feel like by picking one career option, you're losing out on every other option. I was even joking on the phone with my mum yesterday, saying that if you go into a supermarket, there's so much choice, even toothpaste. You look at the shelf and it's like, do you want toothpaste that is good for your gums, good for your enamel? And it's like, which one do I choose? Surely all toothpaste is toothpaste. And so many different brands of shampoo. Whatever you choose, you feel like you're losing out because you might not have picked the best option. But the great thing is, you can't really lose if you choose to do something in life that you enjoy doing. And whatever you're currently doing, you can always change it. I'm just reading this and just leaning in a bit so I can read it properly. So I managed to read the first half of what you said. And then I missed the second half of the message. It's crazy how it pops up and pops off so quickly. But years and years ago, rewinding back to when I was a teenager and in my early 20s, I used to follow this YouTube channel called RSD. And RSD stood for Real Social Dynamics. And I'd watch this because I felt very stifled around people. And I liked the energy of these guys who basically ran the YouTube channel. And one of their ideas was, it was about escaping the matrix of groupthink, not feeling like a sheep, not feeling like you have to be fake and drift along with the currents in life and end up where you end up. But instead to snap out of that, get in touch with how you feel, and start to do something that you're genuinely passionate about. And it doesn't matter what that is, as long as it's something that's right for you. Some people, they love art. They love creative things. If they're baking, they're doing art, they're in their element. They're having a blast. They're enjoying life. Some people love teaching. I really enjoy teaching, which is similar to coaching. When they're teaching, they just feel in their element, playing to their strengths. It feels natural. Some people love science. They like solving puzzles, solving problems, spotting patterns, learning lots of stuff. It's just right up their street. So the first key is finding things that you're passionate about. And a great question you can ask yourself, which often helps out, is what situations do you light up in? Often there's a situation you can remember. It may not come to mind straight away. It may be from high school, time in a workplace, time with family, with friends. And you can remember a situation where you just felt in the zone. You felt like, wow, I'm naturally good at this thing. I have a knack for whatever this thing is. And it's really important to know this, because when you find a career that allows you to tap into that on a regular basis, you're going to feel so much happier. And the amazing thing is, even if right now you have a job which isn't for you, or you're studying a course that isn't for you, that's okay. You have your spare time to start to experiment and find out what is for you. Try and spend 1 to 2 hours a day living your dreams, whatever that means. Whether that's growing as a person, whether that's playing music in your room, doesn't matter what it is, but something that you're passionate about, something that makes you feel good. And when you see other people walking through life in a walking days, looking like zombies, remind yourself that these people feel the way they feel because of the way they're living life and the path that they're on. They're on the wrong path. So, Taron, you've just said, yeah, absolutely. It can become quite confusing because there's so many ideas out there. And I think when RSD talk about escaping the matrix, the way that I interpret this is they're talking about the matrix of society and the idea that you're a slave to society. You're a hamster in the wheel, keeping things turning. And no one likes the idea of feeling like this. And it's so much better when you feel a sense of freedom, a sense that you're free to pursue your purpose in life. But yeah, it can be confusing, but whatever it was, when I was younger, this idea of escaping the matrix just really, really resonated with me. I probably felt that something was off in my life, something in myself, something in the way I was living life. If I was a superhero, I might say that my spidey senses were tingling and they were saying that something's off. And then when there's people on YouTube saying, yes, something is off, and it's because you're trapped in this matrix of ideas that come from society. And that's making you feel confused, frustrated. When you're told that, it validates how you feel and it gives you permission to change. Good morning, Omalara. Great to have you on the stream as well. So there's lots of ideas that swim about in society. And the idea of the matrix is it's a little bit like you're a fish, you're a goldfish in a bowl, and you've not realized that you're surrounded by water. But the water is actually ideas that are being spun, repeated time and time and time again. And while some of the ideas are probably true, there's also some misleading ones as well. If you look at advertising, for example, it's always model looking people that are trying on these beauty products. And you'll get, a shampoo in the supermarket to repair split ends. And there'll be someone cast as the model for this who doesn't have split ends in the first place. So society, it perpetuates certain ideas. And some of the ideas aren't very helpful. And any idea that doesn't make you feel like you're good enough, in my opinion, isn't helpful. No one performs at their best when they don't feel like they belong and they don't feel good enough. When anybody feels rejected, they feel that they're on the outside of the tribe. That creates so much stress, so much fear, and so much anxiety that performance suffers. So, any idea in society that you interpret as meaning that you're not good enough is a bad idea. And I understand that there has to be some level of organization and structure. And if you look at the positives, society does work. so, so I hear what you're saying, Taryn. And what I think is society in itself isn't a bad thing, it's a good thing. So we all have access to food. We don't have to go and hunt. We all have shelter. I'm in a nice room right now. We all have access to lots of resources. So society is functional. It keeps people alive. But society, where I think it lacks, is that it's not geared towards your mental health as well. And actually, since we're all the workforce of society, every person is. The more happy the workforce is, the more productive the workforce is. So, what I think is society doesn't take much responsibility for the ideas it puts out there. Yeah. And because there's a huge number of choices, people feel paralyzed. And there's this idea that more choice, the more choices there are, the better. And this isn't necessarily true, because what it tends to mean is that whatever you choose, you feel bad about because you feel that you might have missed out on a better product. And a lot of products, like sort of joking about one before, don't really make sense. Like shampoo for split ends. What's the shampoo going to do? Knit your hairs together. It's not going to work. But yeah, there's so many products these days in a supermarket. So many careers on the shelf that you can choose. And when you're constantly faced with so much choice, it can create a lot of anxiety. And when you step away from that and say, what would you like to do in life? Or imagine that you won the lottery. So imagine that you escape society. Let's say you won the lottery, you had all the money that you could possibly want in the world. After you've enjoyed having that money, maybe you'd go on a holiday and do some fun stuff. What would you do after the novelty has worn off? What would you do for free? And if there's something out there that you would do for free, you would find meaning in, perhaps that is your purpose in life. So if I was a baller, I would coach for free. If I didn't have rent to pay, didn't have bills, I wouldn't charge for my coaching. So if you can find something that you would find meaning and purpose in doing for free, then you're onto a winner. And the great thing about having lots of choices that you can always do something. So you can always do a plan B job, something that isn't unpleasant and pays the bills, something that's okay. And while you're in that job, you have a safety net and security, then you can make some moves. Yeah, I think there's a lot of truth in what you're saying, that society cares about productivity and mental health is sometimes sidelined. Definitely a truth in that. And even workplaces, they have a mental health policy, but often it's just box ticking. Maybe you have a meeting once a month, but it doesn't really help out. Things don't really change. If you get treated badly from the hours of 9 to 5, 5 days a week, and then have a mental health review once a month, it's not really making a difference. It's ticking boxes. And I'm not saying it's an easy task to have a workforce of people that are productive. But I think there is a way to have a productive workforce who are also happy. And what I think is one of the biggest factors that could possibly change things will be helping people find their purpose in life at a younger age. Helping people figure out what their natural strengths are while they're going through the education system. And then people can go for the jobs that they're going to be really good at, jobs that they're going to actually enjoy. Then you've got a more productive and a happier workforce. So escaping the matrix of society, um, this idea seems to resonate with a lot of people who have social anxiety, which is quite interesting. And I think it's because people with social anxiety tend to have quite a sensitive temperament, and you can feel the effects of different ideas in society. So you have an awareness that if you watch certain series or films on Netflix, it starts to affect your mood. If you read certain books and you're exposed to certain ideas, it doesn't make you feel too great about yourself. And that's interesting and very, very, very common. So Tyrone just said that when he's at work, often he lies about how he feels. Always says he's feeling okay, even if he's not. And that's something that almost everyone does in the workforce. And that really tells you something. If you're not able to honestly express yourself, and no one is honestly expressing themselves, it tells you that there's a fear culture. That's what it tells you. There's a fear of judgment, a fear of standing out and not fitting in. If you was working in a place where you had that freedom just to be honest and it was encouraged, people would feel so much less pressure, so much lighter. And because they'd be bothered less, they'd have more mental RAM left to actually do a good job. It's almost like if you have a computer that's got loads and loads and loads of tabs open, it can perform a bit slower. It can slow down the performance of that computer. But if you have a computer with just one tab open, it often works a lot more efficiently. Similar with people. If people are just present and focused on one task, they perform so much better because they don't have these other things going on, distracting them. Yeah, so social anxiety, depression, maybe not true in every case, but a lot of the time, these people, me included, tend to have a more sensitive temperament. I also think people with higher levels of empathy often have a more sensitive nature as well. And this isn't a bad thing, it's a double edged sword, it's just different. The good thing is, it means that you have more sensitivity towards other people and you have increased awareness. You know the environments and ideas and places that make you feel good, and you know the ones that aren't right for you. It's almost like you're more aware of evil and you're more aware of good. You could say that the downside is that you might feel more easily affected. But the good side is your body feels the way it feels for a reason. It's communicating with you, so at least you get the message. You might think, do you know what? I really can open up to this person and have an honest chat because I don't trust them. Maybe you've seen them talk behind someone's back in a negative way, not in a nice way. And you thought, do you know what? Maybe they would talk about me behind my back. So maybe you've got an impression about something or someone very, very quickly, and you've changed as a result. But yeah, I like the point you made before that people at work often lie about how they feel. They always say, "Oh, I'm okay. Oh, I'm fine," because they don't see a point in being honest and saying, "Actually, I feel fed up today," or "Actually, I feel sad today," because they know that that will lead to um, a conversation which they don't want to be in. And I think there is, a shared understanding that when people go to a workplace, it's just to get the job done and pay the bills. And that's in a lot of workplaces. If you're in a different kind of workplace, there can be a different culture where people are genuinely really passionate. Like when I was in the labs doing a PhD, there was a lot of people that were very passionate about what they do. I still wouldn't say it was a great culture for mental health, but there was passionate people. Yeah, so you feel that your mood can be quite easily swayed by people's behavior around you. And that's possibly because when people behave in a certain way, it's reminding you of past experiences. So there's like an extra level of sensitivity. And what this means is that you're very aware of how your behavior can affect other people. So you're probably very, very, very good at behaving in a way that doesn't negatively affect other people. But I do understand. And this is why I think for people with sensitive temperament, it's great to have tools which you can go to increase your mood, feel better, and just have that extra layer of resilience. Because when you're in a good mood and you're feeling confident, you're less easily swayed by other people's behavior. And you can have this ability to buffer it to a certain extent. And this is why I really like the cardio. I'm going to go for a run actually a little bit after this live stream. Eating healthy is great. Having people who you can meet with and have a chat with, good people, that's helpful as well. And also, this is why it's important to spend some time each day doing things that you enjoy, doing things that you're passionate about. And with time, it is possible to build your life in such a way where not all the time, but a lot of the time, you're surrounded by good people rather than surrounded by um, people who are really difficult to be with. And I feel like um, it's possible to have great boundaries against people on a short term basis. So, over a number of hours, if you are the difficult person, it's possible to stay in a good mood despite somebody's criticism and negativity. But if you're constantly around negative people that are draining your energy, um, planting seeds in your mind, and all those kind of behaviors, then it can be very, very challenging. Yeah, 100%. So I hope that you have a supportive team at your place of work because that's so invaluable. Us humans, we do need other people, and people perform better with help and support. When you feel on your own and you feel like it's you versus the world, that's a hard place to be in. When you feel like there's people that are on your team, on your side, they're supporting you, so much better, so much lighter, so much less stressful. And I think it's because if you're on your own and it's you versus the world, that feels a bit like being cut off from a tribe in hunter gatherer times, and it being all on you to get food and stay alive. But if you was part of a team, you might feel a lot stronger. You would feel a lot stronger. And they say that isolation is one of the biggest causes of stress. Apparently, there's four big causes of stress, and isolation is in that top four. And when someone criticizes you, makes belittles you, makes you feel not good enough, it feels like you experience that as someone trying to isolate you from the group, someone trying to make you feel that you don't belong in a certain place. And if it feels like the reason why they're criticizing you is something which you have no control over, something which is always a part of you, then part of you might be afraid of never belonging. But when you know that you have good people on your side, 100% makes things a lot easier. Another big cause of stress, just while I'm on this topic, is conflicts, which is why having difficult people can cause a lot of stress. I've been around difficult people because there's always conflicts, there's always attacking, nitpicking, criticism, negativity, etc. So then there's a battle going on, which is highly draining and also stress inducing as well. Another big cause of stress is control. Trying to control everything desperately and then realizing that some things could still go wrong because you can't control everything. So trying to desperately control everything is also a big cause of stress. But what's the key thing is it's doing something that you're passionate about in life. If you're doing something you're passionate about, you won't care that much about a criticism. So you have one person that always makes you doubt yourself and leaves you feeling down. And I understand that. I do personally relate to what you're saying. And it's hardest if that's a family member, 100%, because if it's a friend or um, a colleague of some kind, you can find a way to distance yourself. Um, so, did you say you've tried to tell this person how their behavior is affecting you? But yeah, um, but I do understand that. And the thing is, like, no human is made of steel. We're not bulletproof. And if there's enough criticism, enough negativity thrown at any person, there's going to be a point in which it really starts to hurt that person. If you're in a really good place, in a good mood, and living a good life, you can buffer it for a certain amount of time and not be that affected. But after a while, it would start to get to any person. And it's hardest if it's family because you have that connection there as well. And when someone's like that, um, one of the best solutions is to be detached from that person. The more you talk about that person and the more you think about that person, the more you're making it a problem, keeping the problem alive and hurting yourself. So someone that you find to be belittling, not nice, yeah, that's tough. And the question I have is that someone at your place of work? Or is that um, someone else? But yeah, I understand that it's not easy, but the more you can be detached from someone like that, not emotionally invested, the more you can limit the effects of that behavior. And there may be a point in time where if it's just repetitive, it's a pattern. So yeah, so it is basically if it's going to be repetitive and a pattern, there may be a point in time when you come to the conclusion that the only option is to um, pull this person to one side and say that I'm going to be honest with you. I often feel down after spending time with you. Maybe we just clash in some way, but whatever it is, when I'm around you, I feel drained afterwards. So it may be that you have to, at some point, when it's right, have a difficult conversation where you call out the fact that this particular person drains you and leaves you feeling bad. Not easy to do, but what I can say is that a leopard doesn't change its spots. And there isn't a magical formula to completely stop this person's behavior affecting you, because at the end of the day, You can't control your emotional response to a situation. It's something that just happens. So you can be detached from that person. You can have tools in place outside of spending time with that person to keep yourself in a good place, a good mood in general. But ultimately, if that behavior is going to always affect you, the only things you can do are minimize time around this person as much as possible. Keep the conversations on topics that are not personal. Change topics all the time so it's something that isn't personal for you. And if that just doesn't work and their behavior is still hurting you, still affecting you, there may come a point where you have to confront that person. And confronting doesn't mean being aggressive. It doesn't mean arguing. You can confront somebody from a place of love, from a calm place. And you can say to them that you don't dislike them as a person, but you find them draining to be around. And for this reason, I'm genuinely having to make an effort to avoid spending time with you to keep myself in a good mood. But of course, with family, it's the toughest. But imagine that you had that chat where you explain that the way they're behaving is affecting your mood and it is affecting how you feel. Whatever the outcome of that chat is, because you've said that out loud, you now have a reason to not spend time in conversations with that person. So when you're at a family gathering, a function, you could literally just avoid that person from there on after. From thereafter. Once you've said that you find them draining to be around, you could say that when you have that conversation, there's two options. Either they listen to what you're saying and they change their behavior with you, in which case it solves the problem like that, or they don't change their behavior. If they don't change their behavior, then your response to that can be to avoid that person and keep them at a civil level in every conversation. And because you've already said that to them, they'll understand why. They don't want to be in conversations where they're told that they're draining. So you can keep the conversations very, very brief. Just say hello and speak to other people and essentially block them out. So I think work on doing things you enjoy in your life in general, getting yourself into a good place. And when you're around this person, you might need to have that chat. Yeah, 100%. And what I think is you can try this as a challenge. Try this as a 7-day challenge. Try not to think about this person for more than a few seconds. Every time they come to mind, think about something different. And try not to talk about this person either. Just try and do that for 7 days and see if that helps out. And this might be enough. It might be possible for you to get to a stage where you spend time with family and this particular person. It does affect you a bit, but then you switch off from it and bounce back very, very quickly. And it doesn't really affect your overall life that much. That could be the first thing you try. And if this doesn't work, you try it and worst case scenario, they're still really affecting you and this strategy isn't quite cutting it, then the plan B could be to have a chat at some point in the future But really, we'd think about the chat and make sure that it's not too crazy and it's done in the right way. So I've very much enjoyed this live stream. I'm just checking the time now on my phone because, yeah. So I'm going to need to end this live stream because I have some coaching sessions later on today, and I'm going to get a meditation and a gym workout in beforehand. And don't apologize for sending messages. I like interacting with people on live streams. For me, it's so much better to have interaction than just be going off my own ideas. So actually, the more interactivity on my live streams, the better. So yeah, I hope that this live stream has been helpful. There's some valuable stuff there that you can apply to improve your own life. If you've watched this live stream and you're interested in checking out one of my live events in Birmingham, one of my coffee socials, or you're interested in receiving private one-to-one coaching sessions, just drop me an email and I'll be in touch. Until next time, hope you have a great rest of your day. And I hope that the video got you into a more positive mood. So yeah, enjoy the rest of your day. And what I can say is that it looks nice and sunny where I am in Birmingham.